Hello guys and welcome back to the 2023-24 SDPN NHL season previews. Next up we have the Philadelphia Flyers, who are in full teardown, full rebuild mode. How much of that teardown affects their next season? Who could they end up trading? Well, watch till the end because we're going to be breaking down everything to see what's next with Philly. Before we get into the Philly preview though, let's first talk about our sponsor today in Sports Interaction. Get in on the action and make your bet with Sports Interaction. Baseball in the regular season is coming to a close here and a lot is going on, a lot to make your bets on. Bet before the game or live and play with all your favorite teams. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN or download the app to get started. 19 plus, please play responsibly. Now with the Flyers, they got 75 points last year, but with how much they've traded and will likely trade throughout this next year, that's likely to go down quite a bit. Now the Flyers, I don't think will be last place in the NHL, but I think they will likely be bottom 5, more in that 5 to 4 range, but still not a team that's going to be amazing by any means. Now I think they could start out pretty decently, and when we look at their offseason additions, it's really highlighted by Garnet Hathaway on the forward group, who comes in and could be pretty decent on that maybe third line. You see the point production, nothing all too crazy, but I think this is great physical defensive force, could be perfect there. You also got Ryan Poehling, who was basically a fourth line, so bottom 6 center for the Penguins, 14 points, 53 games, will likely fill that same role with Philly. And then you got Mark Stahl from the Florida Panthers adding onto that defense, which is going to be really funny. He turns 37 this next January. We'll see how effective he really is. Then we go on to the subtractions for the Philadelphia Flyers. James Van Riemsdyk signing with the Bruins. He's off the roster, but on 5-on-5 at least, they're probably not going to miss him too much, mostly as a power play guy. Tony DeAngelo offensively is going to be a big loss for them, but maybe in the locker room, probably not so much. 42 points in 7 games last year, but I mean, for Philly, I'd rather not have Tony DeAngelo personally. Then you also lose Justin Braun as a defensive veteran depth piece, which makes that defense a little bit weaker. But to me, the Flyers are still going to stay even somewhat competent. It has to go to these 3 players really dragging the way. For my 3 players to watch, we're first going to start off with Morgan Frost, who became now pretty much their first line centerman, which is crazy to think about. But last year, he got 46 points in 81 games. Like a Barrett Hayton type of just breakout season. Morgan Frost is interesting. If he's able to still continue to improve, maybe get around 55 points, get a bigger role, maybe get a little bit better defensively, that's going to be huge for the Flyers and their center situation going forward. As for my second player to watch, I got another center here in Sean Couturier, who we'll have to wait and see how healthy he ends up being. Of course, all the surgeries over the past couple of years, didn't even play a single game in 2023. Him being healthy is definitely going to be huge for the Flyers. We'll see if he actually is. But if he is, maybe we'll see maybe a 40, 50 point solid defensive season out of him, like a classic Sean Couturier season would have. But we'll see how much he's able to push himself this next year. As for my third player to watch though, and a really exciting one, I got Cam York on the back end, 22 years old, 14th overall back in 2019. This last year, when he did play in the NHL, was pretty solid. 20 points in 54 games and was one of the best stretch passers in the NHL. Great playmaking ability. He's a player though that I think could take an even bigger next step, maybe in Tony DeAngelo's role offensively, and show some of that promise that he had back in 2019. Already developing well though on this Flyers team. But now let's go through, grade the forwards, defense, and goaltending here, and let's start out with the forward group, which might be one of the best parts of the team, and there's a lot in flux here, a lot of younger players. Hopefully we'll see players like Verby and Tippett and players like Konechny take those bigger next steps. And there likely will be a couple of guys traded here, maybe a Scott Laughton, perhaps a player like Travis Konechny, the trade deadline. We'll have to wait and see, which will make it a lot worse. And I suspect after those deals that Philly will start to bottom out a little bit more. But I do love players like Noah Cates coming up too, Garner halfway on that middle. 6 could be really interesting. So I give the Flyers forward group a C+. It's fine, it's solid. It's not going to be the biggest weakness of the team, but it's also not going to be giving them too many wins either. But now let's go on to the defense, and the forward group won't be the biggest weakness. Because something else will, and that will be the defense. Cam York hopefully will take a bigger next step. Rasmus Ristolainen has proved to be okay defensively last year. Sean Walker is okay, but yeah, Mark Stahl, Sanheim's not that great. Seether is okay. This defense is bad. I give them a D. Definitely one of the worst defenses we've had to cover in this season preview. It's going to be rough, folks. Strap up. The goaltending, though, definitely makes up for it, though. And you see, of course, Carter Hart as the starter. Great season last year under Philly's horrible defense, and that was great to see out of him. But the backup situation is what kind of makes it a little bit worse for me. Is Cal Peterson the backup for them? Is that who they're going to really rely on? I don't really know if you should be relying on Cal Peterson to be an NHL goalie right now, but we'll have to wait and see. I give the goaltending a B. Carter Hart is amazing, but besides that, it's quite rough. But to me, when we look at this Flyers roster, to me, the biggest question mark will be how bad does Torts allow them to be? Because even though the center or the forward situation is fine, the defense is bad, to me, Tortorella still makes his teams better no matter what, even if they are as bad as the Flyers might be. I mean, they got 75 points last year, a lot more than they probably should have, and to me, Tortorella's systems definitely help that. But how much of an improvement will it be? How much are they better? Are they still in the 70-point range? We'll have to wait and see. All I know, though, is that Tortorella is still going to make sure this team has that culture, has that work ethic at the very least, and that will be important for younger players like Morgan Frost to learn from for sure, and that will still help them long term. Now, when we look at what they actually could do in the regular season, probably not that much. I predict them to get around 65 to 68 points, absolutely last place in the Metro Division. Unless Carter Hart pulls out magic, there is no way this Flyers team is good, but they really shouldn't be. I mean, especially with the trade deadline deals they might end up making, they hope to be in the bottom tier of the NHL, hopefully getting a top 5 pick. That would be awesome for this Flyers region. And of course, with Matvei Michkov in the last draft, they had a player like a Cole Yzerman or a Macklin Celebrini. That makes their future so much better. And also for the Flyers, this next draft is pretty good on defense, so that could be something to target as well. But let us know in the comments down below, what do you guys see out of this Flyers team? Are they better than maybe I'm predicting? Do you see them being somewhat competitive, or do you see them in the bottom of the NHL? Let us know where you think they rank. Of course, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you've been enjoying the season previews. 32 teams in 32 days, and next up we got the Pittsburgh Penguins, their Pennsylvanian rival. We'll see what happens there. We hope to see you there for that one. Of course, share the video with all the hockey fans and Flyers fans you guys know online, and we will see you in the next one. Make sure you have a great day, and I'll see ya. Goodbye.